my name is Ashley with Ashley's Reads on Twitter, or of Fiction and Fantasy on Instagram and TikTok. And I'm really excited to tell you guys today that I am hopefully coming back from hiatus. Today I am here to bring you quite a large collection of things put into one video, because otherwise I may not edit any of these in time. I have so many things to tell you guys in this video that I have sort of made like a mental outline in my head, and I feel like I'm in school and I am presenting a speech, especially because I'm in my office and not in my book place, so I feel really nervous. So please ignore that. I'll calm down hopefully like mid-video. So today I am first going to start off by telling you about an announcement for a readathon that I get to co-host with a bunch of lovely people and I'm super excited about. And then I will also be telling you guys about my 12 and 12 challenge that I started in January, never told you guys my TBR for, and went on hiatus, but plot twist, I'm actually ahead. And what else am I doing? I want to tell you guys my May TBR, where I am taking part in 4 readathons, even though I told you guys in February I was going to do like 1 or 2 readathons a month. And what is the other thing? I felt like I had another thing. There may be like updates after the announcement, so that's in the wrong order of how I said that, but yeah. I am mentally not here, so like the fact that I'm filming this is amazing. So a quick update, I already filmed this entire video, like the long version that I was going to split up into multiple videos, and one of the parts, my camera crashed, and so I lost like half of the footage, and then I refilmed it a second time, and the footage was just bad. So, and the footage was really close, like it was right up next to my face, and my voice sounded so loud because I hadn't filmed in so long. I forgot like how far out I wanted to put my tripod. So it was a disaster, and then my life has been a disaster a little bit lately. A little bit isn't a very under exaggeration. But yeah, so I'm here now to tell you guys about my announcement video. We'll start with that. So I will be hosting a readathon from June 1st through June 30th, which is my birthday month, and I get to host it with a bunch of my favorite people. I am currently pulling up all of the rules because despite being a co-host, I have not memorized any of these. Okay, so the readathon is called the Desertathon, which is I believe this started out as a typo because some of us were talking about Esme's Desertathon and added an extra S on accident. So then last year we were making jokes about like, oh, but what if there was really a dessert readathon and we had to like bake a cake or something in order to win? And this really stuck with our friend group, and we kept joking about it until this spring we were like, well, what if we actually hosted the Desertathon? And we've all been hosting a lot of readathons throughout the year. We sort of just like swap who makes an idea and then just keep swapping out of readathons to co-host in. So this was the first month that we actually all had free to do this readathon, and I'm so excited that it ended up being in my birthday month because I'm gonna eat so many desserts in June. So yes. Okay, so the Desertathon, like I said, is the full month of June, and yes, I am reading a script. This readathon is sort of genre specific in that your team has a sort of category where if you read that genre or prompt, or sort of like category of books, then you will get extra points for reading that. Now, it's completely not necessary. So if you're on a team and there's a specific genre and you don't read any books in that genre that month, that is totally fine. But there are 6 teams. Mine is the Red Velvet Royals, and so everyone on my team, if you read retellings or books based on mythology, you will get extra points, and I'm very excited. And also I'm very excited because I love retellings and I love books inspired by mythology, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know what books I want to read in June that are those, and I haven't considered that at all yet, so that'll be something to figure out next week. Okay, so yes, so I am the Red Velvet Royals, and we have Mariana, who is running the Spicy Shortcakes, and that is for books that are spicy or steamy. Use your own interpretation of spicy or steamy. The Team 3. Team 3 is Cozy Cookies, hosted by Jane. That is for romances, contemporaries, or cozy mysteries. We have Team 4, hosted by Megan, the Pastry Pirates, and that is adventurous books. We have I'm going to pronounce this wrong, I'm very sorry, the Desertathon, and that is hosted by Esme, and the theme is dark books, which are dark fantasy, horror, or mystery. And finally, we have Celestial Cupcakes, hosted by Eric, and that is sci-fi or dystopian books. So I think a lot of these are like our own favorite genres or just books that we want to read in June. Mine personally is my favorite, I think. Is it? I think it's my favorite, other than like I specifically like it if it's in like fantasy that is not urban or like contemporary, if that makes sense. Like I said, there are 6 teams, so you can pick one to be a part of. Each team has a special genre that I've listed all of them. And if you read books from this genre, you get extra points. Okay, I went over that. So the goal of the readathon is to collect points for your team, and you can do that by completing the ingredient prompts and by making recipes, because each team has a team recipe. We have a total of 20 prompts. Every prompt is an ingredient that you can use later to make a recipe. Every ingredient that you complete is worth 5 points, and you don't have to complete the ingredient again if it's in another recipe. So for example, if you complete salt and you have salt, you can use that in as many recipes as you want. There are 6 recipes in total, and each recipe is worth 50 points to complete. So if you complete your team recipe though, that is worth 80 points because it's specific, because it's your team, so you get bonus points. So I think the only rule that I am looking at is that you can't double up books. So like if you read one book and you thought it counted for salt and sugar, you would not be able to do that. But again, you only have to read an ingredient prompt once, but you can't use the same book for multiple ingredient prompts. The points, you get 2 points for reading a book with your team's genre. You get 5 points for completing an ingredient prompt, 50 points for completing a recipe, and 80 points for completing your team recipe. Okay, so in order to win the readathon, you would essentially read all of the ingredient prompts. I think then you would have completed all of the recipes and gotten all of the points. But a lot of us are not as fast as other people at reading, and so for my idea of completing the readathon, that will mean that I have completed our team recipe. It's my birthday, so I'm basically going to do whatever I want, and so I'm only taking prompts for the Red Velvet Royals recipe. So yes, I'll just go over. I'm going to show the prompts here. So we have the basic ingredients. I believe that these are in many recipes, and these are all sort of like a play on words. So you have like butter slipping off. Butter is slippery, it keeps sliding off your TBR. Buttermilk is sour, something that's low on your TBR. I don't know why people let me make prompts. I love making them terrible. Brown sugar, low or no expectations for your book. I don't know why my hand's up just like this either. Just okay, we'll go over them. Brown sugar, low or no expectations for this book. So maybe for me, I'm like, this book, I'm expecting it to be like 2.5 stars or below. Maybe I'm reading it because it's for a book club, or it's an arc and then I found out like after I got accepted for the arc that it's not that good, or maybe it's like a series that I want to finish off the series though I'm not like super enjoying it, so something like that. Cinnamon, spice up your TBR. For this one, I interpret that as read something that is not within your usual genre, or it could also be read something spicy. Again, up to your interpretation of spicy. Eggs in a dozen, read part of a series. Flour, back to the basics, read your favorite genre. Milk, substitute, a white cover or not an original cover. So just, that means like if like you have a series, after the TV show comes out, they redo the covers, you can use that. Or like if you have an I'll Create edition of a book and that's a different cover than the original cover, you could use that. Something like that. I think that should work for ebooks as well. Like if you have an ebook but the cover is different than the original, I would count that. Holt, read a tearjerker. Sugar, sweet, read a feel-good book. Vanilla, a book that you keep saying you're going to read. And I think that's all for basic ingredients. Unique ingredients, we have apples, a book set in summer or autumn. Chocolate chip, chocoholic, read a guilty pleasure book. Cocoa powder, a non-fiction or classic or serious toned book. Nuts, chopped. This one, okay, you pick 3 books and then you let a friend or a pet, or like maybe you put a poll in our Discord server, let someone else pick from those 3. Puff pastry, read a hyped book. This could be like, maybe it's all over book talk, or maybe you have multiple friends in your book club who won't stop talking about this book, something like that. Maybe it's rated like 4.5 stars or above on Goodreads. That's to me hyped. Philo dough, very thin, read a novella or short story. I think that's normally what, like under 200 pages or something like that. Red food coloring, red cover. Strawberries, published in the last 12 months. Vinegar, continue or finish a series. And whipped cream, outside your usual genre. So those are the prompts. So yeah, I hope that you can join us. That is it for the announcement. I am going to move on to life updates. So if you are new here, you can absolutely just end this video now. That's totally fine. I really hope that you'll join us for the Desertathon. I know we definitely have a Discord. I believe we are working on getting our Twitter account set up. And yeah, all of the co-hosts will be listed in the description below, and you should absolutely subscribe to them and check out their announcement videos as well. Okay, I am restarting the video after each segment so that if my camera crashes again, I know exactly where I am. So I'm sorry I have been gone for, I think I posted my last video in February, so I probably filmed that end of January or early February. I'm sure you keep up, if you keep up with the news at all, end of February, early March, with everything happening in the world, it turned out that Michael had to deploy immediately with almost no notice. And so he is gone, which would definitely be difficult to deal with if I had known in advance, but I did not, and I am a type A personality, so that was difficult. But I could have dealt with it if I had known that he was going to leave for like another 9 months or something like that. But we actually had orders to move this month, like next week. Yeah, we had orders to move, and they said not to worry about it. We would still move, and Michael was only going to be gone for a month, and then he would come back. So I've basically been planning this entire move alone because they haven't given him like computer access, and T-Mobile is like the most hellish company on the face of the earth, so he can't even call, so he can't even like video or anything like that. They basically were like, well, you could email him. So yeah, so I have been planning the entire move, and I got us a house, I got us a moving company, and everything was scheduled, and I went in a couple of days ago and gave my notice to vacate for our house, and in the house that I live in right now, and I ordered Michael's favorite desserts for after I pick him up, because he was supposed to be home in about 4 days. And I actually found out 2 days ago that that's not happening anymore, and they deleted his orders to move. So I don't know when he'll be coming home, whether that will be in the summer or anytime next year. And I had to give up our house and that we were moving to, and cancel the moving company, and basically undo all of the work that I've spent months wanting to pull my hair out over working on. So mental health is not great right now, but I am hoping that making some sort of stability in my life that I absolutely will not be getting anywhere else at this current point, that I could update my YouTube channel while I wait in this hellscape. So yeah, that is pretty much my update. So I just wanted to bring that up like as an explanation of why I've been gone. I wasn't allowed to talk about it until April, and then I just didn't have time to film because again, I was solo planning a move to Arizona, which I guess we'll get there eventually. And yeah, so if my mood or whatever is off for this video, I'm sorry. I'm really trying my best, and this is actually me on a better day because the rest of this week was really bad. So at least I've waited a few days. But yeah, I am gonna move on. Thank you to everyone who has left me really sweet messages or offered to let me rant or anything like that, even not knowing what is going on. I really, really appreciate you guys. And yeah, now I'm gonna move on and talk about the 12 and 12 challenge. Okay, yeah, so 12 and 12 challenge. This is the first year that I am officially doing it, even though since I've had a booktube, I do read with some of my friends. We each read like a favorite of our books from last year. So as usual, I have a Google sheet for all of this. I have 13 people involved in 12 books, so thankfully there was an overlap of one book on 2 people's lists, so this is going to work out. A lot of the books I'm going to talk about today and in my TBR, I have an ebook for only, and that's because I thought I was moving, so I was trying not to go out and buy them, or so I was trying to not go out and like buy them or get a bunch of library books because I didn't want to accidentally move with them or just have more books to be sent away with the movers. So yeah, maybe I will buy some of these tomorrow, who knows. Okay, so I'm gonna read these in order of how I listed them on Google Sheets, which is kind of just the books as I picked them, and then I will mention whether or not I have read them yet, and I will do very brief thoughts on if I like them or not. Whew, okay. So the first one I have is by Nessa, and that is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is so beautiful. I'm trying to decide if I want to talk about each book because I'm trying to make this video short. So I'm going to say like 3 things, like 2 to 3 things that I know about each book that I hold up. This one, I've heard it is Knives Out meets Cinderella, and it's a YA mystery. And I have not read this, but it is on my TBR for May, and I am really hoping to prioritize this as it's my only 12 and 12 book on my May TBR this month. Next up, this is my overlapping one, so this is for both Stasia and Lauren, and this is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I actually got this book for, I think, Christmas from my friend Jane, so thank you so much, Jane. And this one, I believe, is a thriller. I'm not sure if it's YA or adult, but I believe it's one of those. And it will also be my first Colleen Hoover book. I've heard, like, Colleen Hoover is the best author in the world, and then I've heard like Colleen Hoover is the absolute worst, and I hear nothing in between. So I don't know what I will think about this, and I've also heard it's really scary, so I'm really nervous to read this being home alone. I will probably put this off as much as I can if I'm doing 1 book a month until hopefully Michael comes home, or I'll just give in and read it in like the middle of summer when there's more daylight. So yeah, what's next? The next one is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and that is by my friend Bailey. I actually do own this book, but it's downstairs and I'm not moving. I'm not. So yeah, I own it. And it is a contemporary romance. I believe it is adult. And yes, I have not read that one yet, and it's not on a TBR currently. I've heard that it's like a nice summer read, you know, vacation, which means I'll probably read it in Christmas because I never read things at the right time. Book 4 is 3 Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. This is a young adult fantasy, I believe, about 3 sisters who are vying for the throne. But that could be absolutely wrong because I always confuse this book with another book that I actually can't think of the name of. I always confuse this book with another book, and I can't even think of the name of that book, so I couldn't tell you if I'm telling you the correct synopsis. But that's by my friend Martine, And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. I think I have the audiobook. The next one I read, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and that was by my friend Melody. So I have read The Poppy War already. I gave this one 4 stars. I actually really liked it. It is very like grimdark fantasy, and so that was very difficult because I am not a grimdark girl at all. So there were some very explicit scenes, and one of them is something that I generally avoid reading in books, and it was like a whole page on animal death specifically for a dog. So that was really rough, and that's on me. I should have looked up the content warnings, and I don't like tell people in advance what my like things that make me feel uncomfortable reading are, so that's my fault. But I still really liked it despite that, and normally like I'll DNF a book if there's like a dog death in there, so like I Am Legend, I'll never watch that ever again. So yeah, I really enjoyed The Poppy War. I didn't think I would like it going into it. I was like, this is like a young child and this is so gory, and whew, but I am already reading book 2, like already. You guys know I'm in the middle of 50 series right now, and I don't know if you knew that exactly, but I never continue things immediately, and the fact that I'm already on book 2 says a lot. So Melody, this was a great pick, and thank you. Let's see. Oh, also my favorite part of book 1 was Katai. So, but I think in book 2 I have very different opinions, and like as soon as the prologue I was like, okay, all right, I have a new favorite book character for the month, so it's fine. Yeah, it will be fine as long as she doesn't go for his dad. I don't want to talk about that right now. Anyways, book 6. For Nicoletta, I read The Assassin's Apprentice, which is, I do own this, and it is literally in the bookshelf, like right off frame, but I'm still not gonna go get it right now. So yeah, I read The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. That is my first Robin Hobb book. I was reading my favorite booktuber's favorite books, and so it also worked for that challenge. I went into this, I'd said like adult epic fantasy, and so I was thinking this was gonna be something like this boy gets adopted into the castle, and then like everyone in the castle is murdered, and an assassin saves him dramatically and takes him away on a ship, and then like trains him to be an assassin in this new life. I don't know why I thought that. So the book wasn't like that at all. It's very like slice of life, kind of like you are watching a medieval RPG. You're just like an audience member. It's very slow burn and like pacing and development. Not like, there's not really any romance in this one. There's like romantic aspects, but it's not a romance book by any means. And so once I learned that, maybe like 30% in, that it wasn't what I was expecting and that it was going to be very slow, I actually really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed it to the point that like, I've had a bad habit this year where once I get to 75%, somewhere between 75 to 90% in a book, I'm like, okay, the plot is resolved. I don't care about the characters anymore. I just want to finish the book. And I felt the complete opposite reading Assassin's Apprentice. At the end, I couldn't put the book down. I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? So I really liked it, and I will at some point in the future read book 2, but it is not a priority at this time. It's like number 50 out of 50 in my current series. So, but thank you, Nicoletta. It was a good read. I think I also gave that one 4 stars. Let's see. Next up, book 7 by Kayla is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I actually just picked this up a couple months ago at a library, so that worked out really well for me. So yeah, I just picked up this copy a couple of months ago. I have not read it yet. I don't know anything about it except I think it's adult sci-fi. So I love Kayla, but I don't know if Kayla and I have the same taste in books. I can't remember if we did this I think this is our first year doing it, so I don't know. I'm very hesitant because I normally hate sci-fi, but we'll see. Book 8 is The Spanish Love Deception, I think, by Elena Armas, and I think that's correct. And that is my friend Esme's And so that is a contemporary romance, I think. I don't know anything else about it. I have not read it. I would like to get my hands on a copy if I can, but my library does not have any, so I may just buy it. Let's see. Next up, book 9 is Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, and that was by my friend Lara. I already read that one and I really enjoyed it. I also read it as a book club pick that I got to pick for the Shelf This Book Club, and I feel like I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought it was good, but it wasn't great. And there's one aspect that I really liked, and then it was the romantic interest, whose name I can't remember at this time. And there is book 2, but I don't know that the romantic interest will be in book 2. And so I will continue the series, but unless I get an arc, I'm not in a huge hurry. Book 10 is I think It Happened One Summer, and that's by my friend Donna picked it. I actually don't know who the author is. Is it Tessa Bailey? Is this the one that's about like the socialite who gets cut off from her funds to be like taught a lesson by her family or something? I am not sure. I can't remember. I have not read this and it's not on my TBR yet, but it does seem like it would be a good summer read. Next up is Lakesedge by Lyndall Clipstone. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my voice is not it today. Okay. Next up is Lakesedge by Lyndall Clipstone, and that is picked by Rylan. And I am currently reading this book. I am about like 15 to 20% in. I'm like right before 20%, and I am really enjoying this. It's giving me the vibes of like Erin A. Craig kind of. It's the atmospheric vibes of House and Salt and Sorrows, but more of the like creepy aspects of Small Favors. And she's one of my favorite authors of all time, so I'm really excited to read this. And I am very intrigued by where this story is going so far. So I have no idea what I'll rate it, but I am enjoying myself currently. Whew. Final one. I'm so sorry if you can hear my dogs barking. Okay. Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerri Maniscalco, which Megan picked. I've already read this and I have only not pre-ordered Kingdom of the Feared because I thought I was moving. And I don't know where I'll be living. I still don't know where I'll be living when the book 3 comes out, so I will absolutely buy it, but I probably can't pre-order it. I gave this 3.5 stars. I loved this book so much. I read it so quickly. Like once I start reading these ones in this series, I can't put them down and my enjoyment is so high. But the logic in this book felt really poor. And I don't like the main character, Amelia. I already went on a whole rant like twice filming these videos, but Amelia basically makes herself out to be this like very logical woman who is just like going to avenge her sister, and she's gonna take out all the devils, or she's gonna take out all the demons on her way, and she's really just gonna like play everyone to like reach her ulterior motives. And Amelia is just, she doesn't seem she's not very bright. She like is like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna surprise everyone. She's always like, I'm gonna like manipulate everyone, and then she's manipulated every time and she makes impulsive decisions and there's no forethought. And I'm like, you think you are so much smarter than you are. And then for logic, there was a part, there's this beautiful map, and it kind of seemed like getting from, I can't really see where I'm pointing, but it was something for like getting from like here to here, right? It seemed to take like weeks. And then towards the end of the book, it seemed like Amelia was just running around the entire map in like 10 minutes. And I was like, what? So I still can't get over that, really. I was like, is this like someone's backyard or is this like a whole city? Like, I'm not sure. So I don't know. Other people I talked to were confused as well. So that felt really illogical to me. Yeah, but Ratha's super hot and I can't wait to read book 3. All right, so thank you, Megan. So that is all for my 12 and 12. And now we're going to move off of Google Sheets and we will transition into what I plan on reading in May / what I am reading. I can't believe I've made it this far in the video. If you guys are seeing this, like the fact that I didn't mess it up somehow, amazing, amazing. And my voice is My voice is like leaving itself. Okay. I have so many arcs to catch up on. I have 52 series to read. I have a couple in there where I'm like, I don't actually remember reading the first book, and I'm just gonna Sparks Note it because I'm not gonna reread it. That would completely defeat the purpose, but one day. Okay, so I am overlapping books because I have 12 books and 4.5 readathons. So I am not going to describe the books. I'm just going to tell you what prompts they meet, and yes, if you've read them, absolutely tell me if they were good or not. Okay, here we go. We can do this. We're almost done. Okay. Okay. So the first readathon, we'll do that. I did 5 rolls in Desertathon with a D20 to be able to make it through the board. This readathon is hosted by Esme, who is also hosting the Desertathon with us, so love her. Roll 1 is to read a book with over 300 pages. So for this one, I picked Crossbones by, I can't remember who, it's Kimberly Vale. I think it's Crossbones by Kimberly Vale. And this is an arc. I did receive a review copy of it on Idleways forever ago, and I haven't read it, so. Okay, roll 2 is a book that has a map. So I have A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. We are on rocky terms, JLA and I. I have read books 1 through 3 of From Blood and Ash, and I really loved the first one. I really liked the second one, and I thought the third one was atrocious. And at this point, I don't know if Jennifer L. Armentrout is capable of writing more than like 3 lines and just putting them for 700 pages, because there's like 2 jokes that are just made repeatedly throughout the entire series. And by book 3, it's really like, I like Kieran a lot. Kieran's the redeeming part of the series. He has like decent dialogue and they actually talk. And then Castile essentially just worships Poppy, and then Poppy's entire like personality is that she read this sexy journal by this woman once, and she is very curious, and she gets made fun of for not having had a threesome or not knowing about threesomes. And she's like the most powerful being in the entire world. In every book, she's somehow more powerful than we thought that she was before. And that's the entire book, the entire series. So I had to pay like $30 each for those hardcovers, and I can't do that anymore to myself because they're not worth it. The quality isn't bad. Also, get an editor, please. Please, you can pay me to edit these books. Like, I would. Okay, so yeah, so I will at most get an ebook copy of these if my library doesn't have them or if I can't find them used. I'm willing to read The War of Two Queens. I've heard it was really bad, but for reasons that I might like. And I am willing to try A Shadow in the Ember, but if I don't like either of those, we're gone. We're done. I don't know what that hand gesture was. I don't know. But yeah, so we have 2 tries left. So unless like A Shadow in the Embers, there's something like so horrific about it that I can't even read any more of the books. But yeah, anyways. Roll 3 was roll 3 was Everyone But Me Has Read It. So I picked the Inheritance Games because last year, this was like the only book y'all could talk about. And like no one's talking about it this year, so I guess it was just trendy for a little while. Everyone was like, this is the best book I've ever read. And then this year people are like, it was pretty predictable. So I don't know. Can't wait. Roll 4 is a 5-star prediction. For this one, I have picked A Valiant Deceit by Stephanie Graves. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the entire year. This is the sequel to Olive Bright Pigeoneer, and now even the author is like, if it's your most anticipated read, why haven't you read it yet? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't wait though. So I basically have polls on Twitter where I let my followers decide what to let me read, what I'll read next, and so it never wins the polls, and so y'all need to vote for it, please. Okay, roll 5 is a warm word in the title. So for this one, I picked Sea Witch Rising by Sarah Henning. I always think Shelley Hennig from Teen Wolf. But anyways, it's book 2 of the Sea Witch duology. I hope it's a duology. And this one, the warm word to me is rising, because like hot air rises. Yeah, it's fine. Esme, don't watch this. Okay, that's it for Desertathon. For May the Force Read With You Readathon, hosted by Eric. This one I have like 7 prompts, but I only have 5 listed here. So there are 5 prompts, I believe, for my like becoming a Jedi. So it's Ghost or Supernatural. For this one, I picked Dark and Shallow Lies by Ginny Myers Sane, which is a review copy. And it's like a contemporary thriller with supernatural elements. It kind of gives me the vibe of Swamp Things from reading the synopsis / excerpt. Comfort read, Ella Enchanted. I picked this one because I've never read this book, but the movie was a comfort movie for me. And as a kid, I've watched it multiple times, which is saying a lot because I never rewatch or reread anything. 5 or More Words, Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. Finish a series, Sea Witch Rising. Okay, so it must be a duology. The first book was only 3 stars, so it was good enough that I would continue it, but not great enough that I don't know if I could handle a whole trilogy or more. Animal on the cover, I've picked The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by, who wrote that? Axio? I hope that's right. Yes, there should be an animal on the cover one of these ways. Okay, and then I had 2 other prompts for May the Force Be With You. They're just like side prompts, but I think I've already gone over they're just overlapped books, so oh well. The third readathon is Neverlandathon, hosted by Megan, who I mentioned in the Desertathon announcement and in the 12 and 12 challenge. I guess Esme was also on the 12 and 12 challenge, and also hosted by Jade. And so for this one, I will be reading Ella Enchanted because it has fairies, it has green on the cover, and the main character, it has a wild character. Low battery. Okay. This had full battery when it started, so let's try really fast. Sea Witch Rising, Mermaid's Water, beautiful cover. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, a BIPOC author, different culture than mine. Camping / set outside, it's in the sea. Okay. Crossbones, Treasure, Skull, dark cover, Daughter of the Pirate King, Pirates, Morally Grey, Ship, An Enchantment of Ravens, less than 300 pages, and Gods for Bookopoly by Becca. And then I have to read Precipice by John Jackson Miller to finish my Orilium readathon classes before the fall semester. That is it, guys. Thank you so much for staying. Let me know what you're reading for May. I love you. Bye.